Scripture passage is Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. It's page 41, Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Question to start out today. Have you ever wondered what God wants you to do next in life? Have you ever wondered what God wants you to do next in life? Maybe it's a health decision for yourself or someone else. Maybe there's a relationship in peril and you're trying to figure out what do I do next? Or it could be a job change. It could be questions about moving, all sorts of things in which we wonder, what does God want me to do next? And a key piece of that, I think, is by looking at how God has prepared us for the next thing. By looking back and seeing how God has been preparing us and shaping us, we can see an indication of what he's leading us to now. We're going to think this through by looking at Moses and the preparation that Moses underwent. And since Moses had a very organized life, it was with 4 E's. All right? So he was prepared through experience, education, everyday, and extraordinary. So we're going to walk through these. The first is experience. In verse 1, now Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. So experience. Moses is in the wilderness because he is an outcast. He rejected the Egyptians, and the Hebrews rejected him. Nobody liked him, and he ran. He's experiencing what it's like to be an outcast. Previously in his life, he was growing up in Pharaoh's house. That's not quite the outcast sort of feeling. He wasn't able to relate to the Hebrews until he experienced being an outcast. Now, an interesting thing, I think that what experience does for us, like it did with Moses, is it gives us Band-Aids. We have some good experiences in life, but we also have those experiences in which, man, that hurt. And we end up, having wounds that we bandage or otherwise. And when we look back at life and think about our experiences, quite often I think that we see some wounds or Band-Aids from what's happened in life. But think about in your own life, how people have been helpful to you. I find that some of the most helpful people to me have lived the same life I have. Well, not the exact same life, that'd be creepy. But you know what I'm saying, of a similar things. If somebody has a similar wound as I have, we can relate pretty good. Look how Moses is prepared by God through what is a pretty horrendous situation, but he's able to relate to the people that he is to lead. Here's a quote. I find this quote fascinating because this is a qualification on experiences. Because we could just go out and try to have horrible experiences so we can relate to other people, right? That's ridiculous. Yes, it is. All right. Now here's a quote. This is Frank Sonnenberg. I don't know who Frank is, but he has a nice picture online. But here's his quote. Do you have 20 years of experience or 1 year of experience repeated times? Do you have 20 years of experience or 1 year of experience repeated 20 times? So one of the things about gaining experience is that we shouldn't be making the same mistakes over and over again. I've got that one mistake really mastered. That's not what we should be looking at. What we should be looking at is gathering more experience over life and not repeating the same thing. The vast measure of experience is by living life and not repeating itself. I think there's a difference in our experience. We can be a victim of circumstances, or we can grow through what we've experienced. Right? I can blame everything on my life on, my parents, the climate of Berlin, New York, of that time that my brother dropped that thing on my toe and gave me a black toenail. All of those things. I can be a victim of those, or I can grow from all sorts of things. And we have the same choice with our experience. When we think about being prepared for the next step in life, do I just look back at my experience and blame everybody else? And maybe some people do need to be blamed. Or do I see it as a growth opportunity? I think Moses sees it as a growth thing. Moses is ready for the next step. He's 80. He's at the prime of his life, right? He's 40 years in Egypt, 40 years in the wilderness, and now he's ready. I hope that we do the same thing with experience. The next E, after experience, is education. Now, Moses' education was pretty unique. In Acts chapter 7, we're told that Moses was instructed in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he was mighty in his words and deeds. He got a pretty good deal. He got a pretty unique education in Egypt. But the interesting thing is, he had that same education when he killed the Egyptian and tried to hide him. Moses had the same education, because there's a difference between being informed and being educated. I'm going to try to demonstrate the difference between informed and educated. You can thank Joel for this afterwards. Joel provided a link for me that provided this educational material. Thank you, Joel. Okay, so here we go. Who is the smartest man in the Bible? Abraham. He knew a lot. His name was Lot. He knew a lot. Joel's email address is... Okay, there's more. There's more. You want one? I can tell you one. I was only going to do one. I'm going to do more because you guys want to get this. So what vehicle did the disciples drive around in? A Honda Accord, because the disciples were all in one Accord. Keep that laugh track going back there. So, okay, that was painful. That was something biblical, but it's informing, it's not educating. There's a difference between soaking in some knowledge and applying something. So when it comes to education, whether it's formal or informal, we can learn all sorts of things. I can learn on the job. I can learn by taking classes. But it's not education until I learn how to apply it. With Moses, it wasn't education until he learned that God had to work through him. It's a key piece of education for Moses. Experience, education, and every day. Verse 1, what is Moses doing? He's tending the flock. He's herding sheep. Isn't it interesting that Moses will move from sheep herding to shepherding people? Kind of an interesting preparation. Also notice that Moses is out in the wilderness and he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. Horeb is in the same vicinity, if not the same mountain as Sinai. They're going to end up spending a lot of time there. Interesting how God is preparing Moses even now while he's doing his everyday work. How easy it would have been for Moses to miss God in the mundane everyday. Figure Moses has been tending sheep for 40 years. I think miss God that day. It might have been easy to just be bored. Now, I'm going to show you. I have a new hobby. I'm collecting old irons. This is fantastic fun. I don't intend to use them, but I'm all excited about this. But when I have, right, I don't know how these work. What did you put them on a stove? Then you grab them bare-handed and put it on your thing and iron your clothes, right? Not bare-handed? But you'd use them to iron your clothes, right? Would you have it?
I never had one, but
All right. Well, I'm an expert if you're not. So you're not on a stove, you grab them bare-handed. You take it. Okay. Think about how boring this would be. You probably have multiple ones of these because you have one on the stove, because you're taking one off, and you iron, then you put it back, you take another one off, and you're going. I don't think this is the most exciting thing. But what I find interesting about it is it makes an interesting statement of, in the mundane pieces of life is when God irons out the details. Think about that. In the mundane details of life is where God irons out the details. Think about in your life. When it comes to work, whether it's work at your home or work at a job or otherwise, how easy is it to miss God because I am I'm so busy complaining about my work? How easy is it to miss God because I'm so busy complaining about the people around me or the work I have to do or how boring the work is or otherwise? Or on the other hand, how easy is it to miss God because I'm so busy at the task I'm doing that I don't see what God has truly called me to? I'm so busy tending the sheep that I miss the fact that there's a burning bush in front of me. Every day. Now we get to the extraordinary part. This is an interesting piece, and this makes me think of hot sauce. Everything makes me think of hot sauce. But think about this with me. This is going to make so much sense. This is going to be better than the iron example. Okay. So you can see the hot sauce visually, right? You see it, and ooh, there's Old Faithful on the front. Isn't that pretty? So you see it, and then also, when you ingest large amounts of this, it speaks to you with fire. Right? Right? If I drank this, I would be fire-breathing. Okay. Look in the story. This is a theophany. This is where God appears. God reveals himself. And there's some important pieces here. One is that there's a visual piece in which there's an angel. Quite often we look over the angel. In verse 2, angel of the Lord appeared to him. And that is what usually happens in the Old Testament. It's a herald of God himself. And then in addition to the angel, there is fire. Fire, quite often in the Old Testament, is associated along with God's presence. And then there's the burning bush part. That's kind of visual to catch your attention. Yeah, that's kind of cool. If I was Moses, I'd be kind of intrigued by that. Am I alone? Are you shaking your head no, Kevin? You're like, no, I've seen that. I see that all the time. So there's the visual, but then there's also what he hears. God gives a sovereign summons. There is a call. He says, Moses, Moses. And Moses' response is, here I am. Very brief, but making it clear that he's ready to submit to God. Then God gives him a warning. Do not come near, take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. He's making it clear, I'm God. I'm not just your buddy. There is something special here. And then he identifies himself. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God reveals to Moses, I am who you're looking for. And then we enter this interesting process in which after the preparation, there's all these E's happening for preparation, and then Moses responds with a posture of listening. Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Moses is ready. He's not just saying, well, what's reasonable about this? He's ready to listen to God. And here's God's response. Verse 7. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings. God says, I care about my people. I have seen, I have heard, and I know. And then he goes on. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And now, behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me. I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. This is the high point. God says, I have come down to deliver them. How great is that? Here comes a quiz. This is going to be Name That Tune. Because when I read this tune comes to my mind. Because this is so amazing. In which God has said, I care about my people, and not only that, I am coming to deliver them. So picture yourself as Moses at the burning bush saying, wow, God is going to deliver his people. I'm witnessing this. So this is the music behind this. Any guesses? So, for those of you who knew it, you were alive in the 1970s. Well done. Okay. Now, I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite songs. Even if you've never seen the movie, and even if you don't know the 1970s, the beginning of this movie, in which they're playing this song, is the guys for the 1924 Olympics, the British dudes, running on the beach. They've got these white shorts and white shirts, running in sand, but they have this majestic run. It's like this victorious, we've got together, and they're like these rock solid guys running around. And it's this amazing scene. That's what Moses was thinking. But then this happened in the story. We're going to watch a video clip in which my family has actually reenacted this. And I want you to, about a second in, I'm going to want you to pay attention to the tallish guy of what happens. So be thinking of the music. Da, 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 da. Ah, yeah. Here we go. Start from the left side, or from that side. Oh, think of the majesty. Think of... Yeah. That's how our family does chariots of fire. I did it on purpose. Okay. Now think about the majesty of that music, right? Da, 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 da. How glorious that is. And I'm singing that song, and then we've got somebody crashing down in the water. Now, what happens to Moses here. Moses hears God saying, I have come down and I'm going to deliver my people. And Moses is saying, yes. And then God says, come, I will send you to Pharaoh that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Right? That's when Moses falls in the water. It's like, this isn't what I signed up for. God just said, I'm going to do this. And then he says, I'm going to do this through you. That's something for us to think about. When we're wrestling with big life decisions, we should be thinking about how we're going to glorify God with this decision. Not just, how is God going to fix my problem? How is God going to fix this other person's problem? But how is it that God's going to be glorified through this decision? So let's walk through some of these things for our own lives. It's important for us to see in verse 6 that our primary call is a call to the kingdom. When God says, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, he's telling Moses, are you following me too? Because Moses responds by hiding his face, and Moses is making it clear, I'm with you, God. So that's the primary thing in making a decision, is to make sure that we're following God first and foremost. And then it comes into the decisions. Experience. How has my experience shaped me, prepared me for the next step? Remember the Band-Aids. What are some of the wounds of my life? How have they prepared me to move in a certain direction? Am I using those for the good of others? And am I just living my life as a victim? Or am I looking to benefit others through my life experience? When it comes to education, whether we've had formal education, whether we've learned on the job, whether we've learned through the school of hard knocks, whatever school we've gone to, am I informed or am I just going along, right? Am I informed by what's happened, by what I've learned in life, or am I applying it? Am I growing? And when it comes to every day, are we paying attention when we're doing the most boring things we do in life? Are we paying attention to how God might be forming us through what might seem like the most mundane parts of life? Am I missing God because I'm complaining so much about what is boring? Am I missing my surroundings because I'm so focused on what I'm doing? Now when it comes to the extraordinary, when we think about the hot sauce of life, right? Scripture, we can see the words. We can hear God's words. Do we expect him to speak to us through this as his living word? Do we expect that our lives are shaped by what he says here? When we pray, we expect God to be speaking to us. One of the awkward things in this story is I like to laugh about Moses of, ha ha ha, Moses was all excited that God was going to come down and deliver the people. And then God said, I'm sending you. God says the same thing to us, to you. God is saying, I have come down. I'm going to deliver you from whatever situation you're in. I'm going to be with you. I am in you as a believer in Jesus Christ. But I'm sending you to be the means of deliverance. What are you being sent to do this week? What is God calling you to do this week? At home? At work? In this community? What is God calling you